Today, our group is going to talk about 4 questions about IKEA in India. IKEA designs and sells ready-to assemble furniture, kitchen appliance, and home accessory. It has been the world's largest furniture retailer since 2008. And IKEA was founded in Sweden in 1943 by Imre Kemper. The IKEA company's products were well known for their modern architecture and eco-friendly designs for various types of appliances and furniture. Until now, IKEA owns and operates 400 stores in 49 countries to become a global brand. India is the second most population country in the world, and in 2017, the India economy was the world's sixth largest by nominal GDP and the third largest by purchasing power parity. Also, India is a lucrative market, although the per capita income is low and huge market for costly products. And the India also did not like buy something which you need to do with themselves. After that, in this article, we can know that even though the India customer did not like the IKEA concept of DIY, it is still a key part of IKEA's globally successful business model. Competitor advantage describe traits that allow a business to outperform its competitors. These attributes may include access to natural resources, unique capabilities, and innovative products or service. Resources are the element which drives the organization to build their products in a way that is helpful in making the organization to earn profits. So the resources are classified into 2 categories: tangible and intangible resource. Tangible resource, it is mean that those resources which can be physically seen or touched, like the materials. These resources are used to build the finished goods that are used by the consumers. Also, intangible resources are those which have no physical existence. For example, human resource and patents. Because they provide the service to the customer and this service have no physical existence. Talking about the IKEA's tangible resource, it has the physical resource. It includes wood, cotton, waste, and food which are said to be material to produce the finished good. On the other hand, the intangible resource of IKEA are human resources, which are being used to run and operate the company. IKEA has many stores and expand all over the world, and with its design and conquer cost leadership concept, IKEA has become a global brand. So its reputation and brand image become as their intangible resource. There are the tangible and intangible resource of competitive advantage in IKEA. In addition, there are some sustainable competitive advantage in IKEA. The first one is cost advantage. The IKEA has the capacity to produce in high production, so it can gain a sustainable competitive advantage by reducing its profit margin and recruiting it through high production sales and turnover. What's more, the firms also pay attention to the cost control, operational details, and continuous product developments, which allow it to lower its price. Furthermore, the second one is differentiation advantage. The IKEA has strong creative capability and it often leads the market with innovation. For example, it provides affordable finishing that help people save energy and water and reduce waste. And IKEA use more natural lights to reduce energy costs. It is the environmental protection ideas for the customers. Moreover, instead of selling per sample products, the company design furniture that could be assembled by the customers. This also helps it cut down on the cost and the packaging. Therefore, there are the cost advantage and the differentiation advantage of the sustainable competitive advantage in IKEA.
How has Ikea attempted to position itself in the Indian market? So Ikea has done so by incorporating business level strategy into their model. So what is business strategy? It is defined as a integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions designed to gain competitive advantage by exploiting core competencies in specific individual product markets. In addition, business level strategy is a core strategy. It is a strategy that firms forms to describe how it intends to compete in the product market. All firms must form and use business level strategy. That being said, IKEA has also chosen one of the types of business strategy, and I will further elaborate on later slides. So what is the purpose of a business level strategy in IKEA? IKEA has 5 distinct characteristics to create differences between IKEA position and those of the competitors. That being the big box retail, where the physical appearance of IKEA resembles a giant box with colossal space. Secondly, DIY, do it yourself, where the furnitures are packed in flat boxes and to be assembled by your own. Thirdly, low cost. IKEA was positioned as a low price product, but in emerging markets like India, it planned to target its products at the growing middle class that aspired to have an international lifestyle. Next would be cafes, selling food and beverages. And last but not least, modern design. So there are 5 types of business level strategies firms can adopt. That being low cost, focused low cost, best cost provider, differentiation, and lastly, focused differentiation. In this case, IKEA has chosen to adopt a focused market niche strategy. It is based on 2 dimensions, target market, broad versus narrow. So IKEA has chosen narrow as it's targeted to one segment of the market, that being the middle class citizens. Competitive advantage, low cost versus differentiation. Basically, a focus strategy is an integrated set of actions taken to produce goods or deliver services that serve the needs of a particular segment. There are 2 types of focus strategy. First being focus differentiation, for example, Ferrari. Second being focus cost leadership, which IKEA has adopted. So how has IKEA incorporated focus strategy into their model? First, IKEA caters to the real middle class citizens in India. Secondly, IKEA has tweaked its product range and showrooms and adding services to accommodate the new culture in India. The places people lived in smaller rooms, it's modeled its showrooms to be smaller. Thirdly, consumer concerns. Indians normally have the furnitures made by local carpenters or furniture stores. IKEA CEO Juvencio Matsu had said in the earlier interview that IKEA in India would make e-commerce available and home delivery to help customers concerned. Lastly, we are going to talk about the physical positioning of IKEA in India. The location will be in Hyderabad. It is in the city of India and is the capital of a southern India, Telangana state. It is 400,000 square feet, 1,000-seater restaurant, metro connectivity, close to the highway with good visibility. Here's a video showing how IKEA caters to the middle class people in India. This video depicts several middle class homes with appropriate space. It shows that the middle class citizens can still furnish their homes with IKEA, offering affordable, stylish, yet minimalistic look. Enjoy.
It's the end of paper shuffling, marathon meetings, coffee to go, juggling, road rage and commuting while catching your breath. But it's the beginning of life, 'cause I am home. Make room for a new beginning, a new linen for a new tenant. It might be the start of a new beautiful friendship. Make room for family and for your friends, for those who let you down but might just be there in the end. Make room for wins and losses, for bosses and their never-ending stories about the office. Make room for the first time and and the last time, the ones in between, and the past time. Make room for one more, for dance floor, and make sure you make room for whatever it is that you stand for. Make room for love, make room for loss, for the things you cherish, whatever the cost. Make room just to make it really nice. Make sure you make room for life.
So let's talk about how can IKEA survive into the circumstances of India market. So as we well know, India is a really large population country with a big share market. And company organizations over the world are trying to engage into the market, but it's really hard because of the India regulation. IKEA have did the first part. They already entered the market, but even though that there's still problem facing. So let's see what's the challenge. For this part, we're going to use some external environment factors to explain is it a good choice for IKEA to enter the Indian market or not. So the first part is the economic. As the statistic says, India has the number 7 GDP over the world and 7% annual growth rate of economic in average. That's a good part, but there's still sad part. For the income inequity, for the top 1% of India people, they're holding around 58% of their total money in the society. So that's very weird. And that's a bad thing for IKEA to survive. But even though they have good GDP, even though they have good economic situation, but when the money have divided into the population, every single India only hold a small amount of money to spend. But there's still good things happening because of the personal saving rate of number 3 all over the world. So that means Indian people has actually money to spend to buy things like IKEA furnitures. For the social cultural part, Indian people has really good work and life balance attitude. They're not going to just focusing on the working, but they also pretending to be very happy with the life attitude. They're going to build furnitures. They're going to choose like what's good to be in the home. And for the DIY part, DIY it's the IKEA brand image for most of the countries are accepting that, but it's not really appreciated by Indian people because they tend to be more traditional and more passive. So that's the bad thing. The next thing is the demographic one. As we mentioned again, there's 1.2 billion people living in India. That's a really large market. And so that the other thing is India as research, they have really good healthy age structure, which means they have from age 21 to age 42, they have most population between that age group, means IKEA furniture is easier to be accepted by those age group because it's mostly Generation X and Generation Y. So they are easier to tend to accept new things. And the other thing is about the India is the most diversity of the ethnicity. Over the all India area, there's so many ethnicity around it, but it's really hard for IKEA to develop each section around it to fit each ethnic. So it's really hard for them to categorize. The last part, and it's the biggest part, it's about the political and legal part. As we know, tax regime is really hard, it's really terrible in India. And IKEA is facing the problem because 1/3 of the production of IKEA furnitures have to be manufactured in local area. So that means it has to be in India. But we found out that in India the resources, for example, the wood is not fitting the IKEA. So IKEA furniture. So that means it has to be shipping from Europe, from America, from South America to India, and that costs a lot from shipping, and there's only also a tariff between that. So that makes the cost even harder for IKEA to survive. So that's the problem now facing by IKEA to enter the Indian market and to keep making profit. And as research, there's only 3% of the total revenue contributed by India IKEA for the last few years. But in comparison of like China market, Switzerland, Europe, American company, they did the most contribution proportion out of it. So we saying that India is not the best choice now, IKEA should focus on, and let's not make the Japanese case again. So let's not make the tragedy happen again.
Firm's international strategy has been categorized based on two dimensions: the need for global integration and the need for local responsiveness. There are mainly four types of international strategy: global strategy, export strategy, transnational strategy, and the multi-domestic strategy. According to the news on Business Today in 2013, IKEA is likely to face some India-specific challenge as the consumer behavior, economic environment, and the culture is different from other Western countries. In order to increase the local responsiveness, IKEA executives has visited 500 India homes to study the local preference, and they also conduct a research on the culture and value of local people to connect closely with them. IKEA also modified the design of stores to fit their culture by creating prayer rooms, changed the full menu in IKEA restaurant so they can serve Swedish and Indian cuisine at the same time. India is a big country, and in different cities there are different sensitivities. To respect that and make it more universal, they won't have the original version of Swedish meatball that contains pork and beef in the IKEA restaurant. Since IKEA is high in global integration and high in local responsiveness, the international strategy that adopt in India could be recognized as the transnational strategy. IKEA will choose the franchising mode to entry into the India market instead of other entry modes. Franchise manage the outline using the franchisor business model, while the franchisor provide manager assistance, training, and performing monitoring. Elon elaborate more on the subject that franchising is the most popular method for international franchisor. It's the mode of entry into an international market with minimum financial risk and quick go-to-market strategy. IKEA Group is a franchise to inner IKEA, while IKEA India is an investment of IKEA Group. Around 90% of the business belongs to IKEA Group. Normally, smaller countries, IKEA stores are franchised to other groups. India IKEA is investment like China, Japan, South Korea, and Australia are the part of IKEA Group. IKEA being multinational company and present in 48 countries, already acquired very knowledge and experience from expanding its market to other countries. There are few advantages by choosing the franchising entry mode. Brand recognition. Franchising allows the franchisor to gain a quickly establishment to the foreign market environment. Ready consumer portfolio. Easy setup. Franchising eliminates the problem of entering into new markets by providing the franchisor entire business format. For example, the marketing strategy and plan, operating menus, and standard quality control and continuing two-way communications. Easy access to financial support. Due to the low failure rate in franchising, banks and other financial institutions provide credit to the franchisee.
As conclusion, we found out that even though there's some demographic factor not giving a good effect on IKEA surviving, and also the government regulation is very strict. But IKEA did really good from the business level strategy and have a nice positioning of the market that targeting the middle level of the customer. So we will expect a growth shortly from IKEA India, and it should be a worthy choice even though it's not the best choice. Thank you.